The Shaking My Head podcast features interesting discussions about topics that have frustrated the hosts, Alex and David. Each episode is meant to question the quirks of society and bring to light subjects that intrigue or bother us. If you're here because something has you shaking your head, even if it's just life, you're in the right place.
So I'm Asian.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Okay. God, how old am I? I'm 31. Live in Atlanta.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? I was born in Chicago, and my parents moved to Atlanta when I was I want to say 1 or 2 years old.
So you're a true ABC.
I'm ABC, yeah. So my parents are Taiwanese. Wow, now I have to keep backing up every time. I'm single, child.
Only child?
Only child, yeah. Why
Might be better.
I said that.
Single. Girls, where you at? And I have a sister who is 5.5 years younger than I am.
My parents are Taiwanese.
Yeah.
And they met, so they came to the U.S. to do their masters, and they met in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As far as I know, they met in Chicago.
As far as you know.
I've only been told this story, I think, once or twice. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is, if it's how I remember, that's how it went. And
so did they go to the same school or?
No, my mom went to Purdue, so that's in Indiana.
Yeah.
And my dad went to DePaul, which is Chicago or Illinois.
How do they meet if they're in different states? I know it's not terribly far from each other, but
I believe they met at some event, like an outdoor event. Almost not like a county fair or something like that. I think it was some parade or something. So I was born in Chicago and then moved to Atlanta, but I have not lived in Atlanta my whole life. Mm-hmm. I went to college, the same college as you. Well, we went to the same high school.
Same major, actually. Yeah, we went to the same high school too, but we didn't know each other back then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, same major, engineering major, industrial engineering at Georgia Tech, Georgia Institute of Technology. Then after I graduated, I did my master's. I went to Arizona, not University of Arizona. I went to Arizona State for my MBA. And then after that I graduated, I went on to work in Dallas. So I work in Texas for a telecom company. And after that, I had a chance to come back to Atlanta. So I was working in Dallas. So the the MBA program was full-time 2 years. Then Dallas, I worked full-time 3 years. And decided I had an opportunity to switch. So I was in supply chain at first, and then I moved into marketing. So I did marketing, and marketing had a position in Atlanta, and I was like, oh, well, I kind of want to go back to Atlanta. A lot of friends and family are here, so I decided to move back to Atlanta. So I moved back to Atlanta in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 years ago. Been in Atlanta ever since. And what about yourself?
All right. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I've lived there pretty much my whole life until, so I did go to Taiwan for 2 years. My family is Taiwanese as well. And then
when did you go to Taiwan? Was that
2012 to 2014. basically 2 years. The idea was I kind of just went there. And I was like, you know what? If I don't get a job, I'll just stay here for 6 months. If I get a job, I'll stay there for 2 years. I think 2 years was a good time period. I
But
think
that wasn't after you graduated, right?
it was after I
It
graduated.
was right after you graduated?
No, it was after I graduated in '09, fall of '09.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I went 2012, 2014. So between then, I was helping renovating a house, and then I had a job in Atlanta for like a year, and then I moved to Taiwan because I don't know, just got tired of living in Atlanta. So figured when I go to Taiwan, I've always liked it. My grandparents are there, and like I used to only visit every few years, and when I did, um, not for long. As my grandparents are getting older, I felt like it'd be a good, good to kind of see them more and enjoy the city life, which I definitely enjoyed. Like the public transportation there is so convenient,
Mm-hmm.
so easy to get around. Everything's open. A lot of things are open relatively late, so can't go wrong with the food. The people are really nice. So, anyways, I was there for 2 years, and then other than that, up till last October, I was always living in Atlanta, and then moved to San Francisco. Then, and still here now. We have similar backgrounds, I'm guessing, because we kind of grew up in
Wait,
Alpharetta.
hold on. Why did you leave Taiwan?
Because I just stayed there. I was just like, I'm just gonna stay there for 2 years, and then that was that.
Okay.
The pay there compared to here is crap too. So that's another reason why I was ready. Like, it's kind of just I kind of just wanted to get away from, I guess, what I called like normal life, and then live somewhere else and have, I guess, kind of maybe have fun for a couple of years, and then because at some point I had to adult myself, so I guess that's kind of what I'm doing. I
I'm
didn't like I didn't save. Let's put it this way: I didn't save any money living in Taiwan. I pretty much used up all my funds every month. So yeah, Dave and I, um, we pretty much grew up in the same environment in Alpharetta, which is like one of these suburbs to live in Georgia. It's kind of like the Irvine of California, or
Alfred is high end, yeah.
and then my parents, kind of like yours, they actually met in Taiwan. They got
Oh,
married there,
okay.
and my mom came over first.
Oh,
Before
okay.
she went to the University of Georgia to get a master's because they both got their undergrad in Taiwan,
I see.
and then my mom was getting a master's in music, which she eventually was a piano teacher for a while here in Atlanta.
Uh,
Apparently a pretty famous one, but she went to UGA for a semester, and she's like, fuck this shit, and then she ended up going to finishing out her master's at Georgia State.
okay.
And then my dad came like 6 months to a year after my mom. He went to Georgia Tech actually and got a master's and almost a PhD in, I think, electrical engineering.
Okay.
He actually got his PE, professional engineering license, which he, I guess, never really ended up using. Um, and I think he was a mechanical engineer when he was in Taiwan. The whole story about my dad almost finishing his PhD is he ended up opening a computer shop, and he's basically been doing that ever since. And then my mom, she stopped teaching piano and kind of just joined my dad with the computer business, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyways, that's that. And then yeah, we grew up in really nice community. Um, like my parents paid for my college, but like luckily I had in-state tuition, so it was like 4,000 a semester, which
Did you
is
you had
not much.
hope? Did you have hope?
I had hope for like the first year, and then that was that. So
So hope
um,
is the scholarship that I mean, it was made, I think, to keep students in state. So part of my story. Uh, so I went to high school at the same high school as you,
yeah,
Chattahoochee High School, which is in Alpharetta.
right,
But my parents got divorced
right.
I think it was my sophomore year or my freshman year of high school, and then I moved my sophomore year. I stayed in Alpharetta. We just moved I started living with my mom in a different house in Alpharetta. And so anyways, after I graduated high school, because she worked in like North Georgia area, Calhoun, so
Calhoun. Dang.
Calhoun's like an hour, so she used to drive like an hour and a half to work while I was in high school.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But after I graduated, it was like, okay, well, you're going to go to college, so there's no need to live near the high school. So she moved to Ackworth, which is only like 45 minutes away from her work. Yeah, and I did Hope
Smart
as well in college, yeah.
Just kidding.
College was a lot I mean, it was affordable with Hope because you're just paying for living and food and other stuff.
Right.
It was pretty inexpensive. And it was like, Hope is one of those things that actually, it does work because it made me it didn't like force me to stay in Atlanta for college, but it did help.
Yeah, originally I was just going to go to school in Georgia and then save, spend the money on grad school. But after Georgia Tech, I said, fuck it.
So you're in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you've been there
6-7 months.
6-7 months.
7 months, I guess.
You planning to stay? Well, you don't know right now?
Everyone fucking asked me that. I hope so. I mean, 7 months minus. It's really been like, I've been out of the country or out of the city for like a month and a half. So let's just say 5 months. I don't think that's long enough for anyone to say, like, unless you have really strong opinion one way or the other, like, I don't think you're going to be able to determine whether that's the place for you within that short amount of time. So currently, I'm a contractor for my company back in Atlanta. Not going to name the name of the company, but I do, my title is product engineer. I do hardware software integration. I was working for a research institute in Taiwan. It's kind of how I guess I started getting into web development. Worked for their earth sciences department, so I basically aggregate a whole bunch of data and kind of create like a portal so that you can view all the earthquake data and whatnot. It's a pretty cool project. And that's about it. The company I'm contracting for now, before I moved to Taiwan, I did worked in the production department.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and tune in next week for more stories about what has got us shaking our heads.